Okay, we're going to call the finance meeting to order. We'll turn it right over to Trace.
So today we're working on the budget for 2021. And we need to get this into the Paris system before the end of October. We took the same tactics as we typically do with these, where we put in all the expenses and then back into an income number. And this is what we came up with. So we left in the sewer costs that we had in there last year, offsetting expense and revenue for that, just to have it a budget line for it. But otherwise, everything is pretty much the same as previous years. So, questions?
I'm not sure that this is a legitimate question, but on the first page where you have total income for 2020,
Yep.
49,396. That's not the sum of those numbers.
It is not the sum of those numbers. Well, I don't know what happened with that one. So the total fees for service. Oh no, it is. Oh, something went wrong up here with the fees for service. Do you have the spreadsheet? It doesn't include the 86.5. So it should be 135,896.
Which one is that?
What,
Total income?
in place of 49?
Yes. It looks like the 86.5 under project fees for some reason wasn't.
Tell me that number again.
135,896.
Okay. And if you go over to the proposed budget, is that not correct either?
So the projected year-end net income would be 55,386. But the proposed 2021 budget should be correct. It's just a projected year-end.
The proposed budget is 1,071,000. And that's without the extra million?
That includes the extra million.
That can't be. If you, I'm sorry, doing this on the phone, I don't make much sense. But if you add those numbers up, it comes to way more than that if you put the million in.
Yeah, what's up with that project fee? It's not.
The sewer line revenue is a grant.
Yes, but if you, what I did, I added the other ones up and left that out,
Right.
and that I come up with 140,050, and that don't make any sense. But maybe it's my math.
You're coming up with what?
What'd you come up with, Herb?
I come up with 140,050 without the $1 million.
So the 63,475 is the total of the 3 lines above it, plus the 100 for the gas revenue.
Oh, okay. The 60 the 63,475 is the total of the ones above it?
Correct, yes.
Okay. If you add to the 63 another 13,000, that should be
So
76.
the five, the second 5,000 is just a total of the line above it. It's not $10,000. It's only 5,000. So you can see line 45030. That 5,000 is the same 5,000 as 45000.
Right. That's, I can see why her confused. So,
Yeah, no, I can see this probably. We're just carrying over. So I can see where the confusion is, but that's not $10,000. It's only 5,000.
So what is your total income without the $1 million?
71,575.
I can't hear her. I can hear Ray and Tracy, but
71. It's
Do you need the mask on for 6 feet apart?
71,575. I'm too close to her to take.
okay. That's your total income is 71,575 without
Correct.
the $1 million.
Correct.
Okay.
So at the
Okay.
bottom, so the proposed budget is fine. It's just that projected year end that is a little bit off.
Yes. Yep. I agree with that.
So the interest savings and the investments are the same.
Yes.
It just makes it look like there's $5,000 more.
Kind of, yes. So it's confusing because there's only one line in that section, and then there's just a total for that section. So I mean, we can clean this up for next year if you want, but
Yeah.
So our total expenses estimated for this year is still 80,510. Is that right? Is that the right number?
yes.
And the budgeted number is 71,575, which is 5,000 less than that.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense.
So you'll see that last year the budgeted expenses, if you don't count the million, was 69,675. For next year, the budgeted expenses would be 71,575. The majority of that increase in expenses around the audit charges. And we're just expecting to underspend the budget a little bit this year. Who else just joined by phone?
Yep.
This is Paul.
Those are the only questions I had. I'm all set.
Thank you.
Okay. So when we get into the meeting, we'll just explain that there was that issue with the revenue side, and we'll give them the numbers. The corrected numbers. So you comfortable recommending this to the full board?
I would move that we recommend it with that correction to the board.
Thank you. Is there a second?
You're the only other person on this committee.
Right.
There's just me and Ray?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Herb and I agree.
Oh,
great.
we can do anything we want to then.
What else would you like to recommend to the board?
That $1 million, do we have that?
No,
Excuse me?
no, there's not a cash amount there yet. That's what we're assuming in terms of applying for like EDA grant funding and revenue from ESD grant funding along with the sewer line.
I know we don't have it in our hand, but you still feel comfortable with the $1 million?
I mean, the $1 million was somewhat of a placeholder. That's what we were kind of anticipating. So it would adjust with whatever the actual granted amounts would be. But I think it's a reasonable placeholder based on the projection that we have.
You're still comfortable with that number then? Okay. And do we, now I'm getting into the next meeting, do we have any update on the DEC and the sewer project?
I have an update. It's not a very progressed update, but yes.
Okay, I'll get into that at our next meeting.
Great.
Are we through?
Yes, we're done. I think we're done with this meeting, unless there's something else that you two have to address.
No, it's only 5 minutes till the next meeting, right?
Yes.
That's true.
I might just as well just stay right on here.
That's
Fair
fine.
enough.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. So are we adjourned?
Sure.
Great.
Ready?
We're ready.
Okay, I'll call the meeting in order. It's 4 o'clock and we have a quorum. Minutes for the review and approval of our regular meeting of September 15th.
I move we approve the minutes.
Thank you. Is there a
I'll second it.
Thank you. Motion been made and seconded. Is there any additions, corrections, or comments? Lacking any, all in favor?
Aye.
Is there any
Aye.
opposed? Carried. Thank you. Governance Committee minutes of September 15th. Is there a motion to approve that committee report?
So moved.
There's a second. Dan. Any discussion on governance committee minutes? If lacking any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Thank you. Bills, communications.
Yeah, that's you.
Hello?
Who do we have on the phone? Who just joined?
It's John.
Hey, John.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good.
Me too.
You're late for our finance meeting.
I was?
Is there a motion to pay our bills? There's a second. Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on bills? Lacking any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Okay, let's get right down and we'll continue on under Rick's advice from last night. We will reopen the public hearing for a few more minutes. Tracy, have we had any comments, any communication from anyone since last night?
No.
Okay, we'll leave it open for a few more minutes as we do the meeting. And, before we vote on it, we'll have to close that. Is there a report on the treasurer?
Yeah, oh.
So for the budget. Okay, so for the month of September, we see that we have the project fees of $250, which is the abundant application fee. We have $170.58 for interest and savings in that account. And then we have the $252.30 for the postage. And then just the maintenance on the industrial park.
And they've been put in place. Okay. And the pilot disbursements.
Out disbursements, they went out in September, the end of September. One was in October, so they've all been sent out. We have not received any back. So I'm waiting on those.
Is there a motion to approve the treasury report?
So moved. I'll second.
Discussion on treasury report. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Any opposed? Carried. Okay, at this point, if there is no further comments, any written or verbal or in-person comments on the public hearing from last night, I will close the public hearing and we will go into the authorizing resolution. Melissa Clark is on the phone with us.
Hello.
Tracy?
Yep, so this is the same project we discussed last month at the meeting. I don't know if there are any additional questions that we'd like to address before going to the authorizing resolution.
This is Herb Marshall. Are we giving them the same level of benefits that we talked about with the two other projects?
We did the public hearing based on the level of benefits we discussed at the meeting last month, which is the same term in terms of the number of years, but is slightly lower in the per year payment for the purposes of the community distribution. So last month we discussed 15 years at 3,500 per megawatt with a escalator. So that is what the public hearing was based upon.
Okay, thank you. If we're ready, I would move that we approve that level of benefits for them.
Okay, there's a motion to close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion about closing the public hearing? All in favor of closing the hearing?
Aye.
Any opposed? It is closed. Melissa, you're on the phone. Do you want to have some comments?
I am on the phone. Thank you very much for your time. I think we've reviewed the project a couple of times now. We are, as I mentioned yesterday, on the cusp of moving to construction-ready diagrams on this site. We have confirmed and paid all of our deposits with the utility and have all of our permitting done with the town of Senate. So most of our third-party heavy lifting is done, and the finalization of the pilot payment will allow us to move into conclusion of our financing arrangements. So we're looking forward to moving to that next stage today.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the project resolution for Abundant Solar?
We can still ask questions, right? Right.
Sure.
I would move that we approve it, but I do have one question.
Okay.
When we're discussing it.
Is there a second? Okay, motion by Herb, seconded by Ben. Discussion.
The other public hearings we went to, there was a major concern that the company putting in these solar projects provide a bond or a method of putting the property back in the state that it was at before the solar project was put in, if it should fail or be discontinued. Have they made arrangements to do that?
I can answer that question. We've provided a decommissioning plan with a bond schedule to the county being the owners of the property. And it has been approved and has become an appendix to the lease document.
Thank you very much.
Is there further questions? Yeah. If not, we'll proceed to a vote. I'd like a roll call vote on this.
I'll do it. I will do it. Oh, wait, I have to find it, sorry. Hold on. Mr. Vitale. Mr. Latinishyn.
Yes.
Mr. Lattimore.
Yes.
Mr. Marshall.
Yes.
Andy?
Andy. We'll try him in a minute. Gina. Ms. Spino.
Yes.
Mr. Lockwood.
Yes.
Mr. Rindfleisch.
Have we lost Andy?
It appears we've lost Andy. He was. Oh, there he is.
Yes.
Andy? Oh, there you go. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Okay, the motion's been approved. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you, folks.
We'll jump right down to new business and then go back. We have another initial project resolution. Trace?
Yes, so this is another solar project. It's of a very similar nature to the one that we just discussed. We have Joseph on the phone. Joseph, would you like to describe the project for the board?
Yeah, of course. So this is a community shared solar project located in the town of Niles, New York, just south of you guys there in Auburn. We have presented to the town and actually have town approvals received on October 15th. Actually, let me step back just a little bit. This is a 4.75 megawatt AC project, which has gone through the CSIDA process and has been approved by National Grid for interconnection, and has been approved by the town on October 15th at their previous planning board meeting with a couple of minor conditions. This is like I said, a community shared solar project. So this will be participating in the state's program for community solar. And it is also a single access tracker system. So it will rotate from east to west, just a typical solar project. If you'd like me to go into a little bit more details on the exact studies that we've done, I'm more than happy to, or answer any questions that the board has.
How much efficiency do you gain with the tracking?
I don't have the exact number off the top of my head, but it does increase the efficiency greatly.
Is the electricity that's produced going to be available to any of the local people?
Yes. So majority of the town of Niles is located within National Grid territory. However, just south of this, it is bordering the NYSEG territory. So it won't be able to encompass all surrounding areas, just people who have a utility bill through National Grid.
And have you made provisions for a bond or a method of paying to put the property back in the condition it was in if this should be discontinued or failed in the future?
Yes, so per the Town of Niles codes, it does require a decommissioning plan and bond. Now, the exact amount hasn't been set yet. However, before we are able to do anything such as pulling a building permit, that will need to be finalized and the bond needs to be set up and incorporated within the schedule there for the town to decommission and place back into pre-existing conditions.
The cost benefit analysis that we shared, the schedule mirrors that for Abundant. They're similar projects in the power distribution model, and with it being community distribution as opposed to a power purchase agreement of some sort or going directly wholesale into the grid. So I did mirror that pilot to the one that we just did with Abundant. That is open for discussion. This will obviously also include, as with the other projects, the sales and use tax, as well as the mortgage recording tax abatements.
I would, this is Herb, I would move that we set up a public hearing on this project.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion by Herb, seconded by John. Set up a initial project resolution public hearing. Is there any further discussion on this resolution? Lacking any? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed?
I'm just
Carried.
gonna note that we lost Mr. Reinflesch, so we will mark him absent in this vote.
We lose him again?
We did lose him. It's not me this time. That one's not me.
I don't think it was you last time.
This was me.
Okay, well, thank you. What was your name?
Joe, so I'll be in touch to schedule the public hearing. We typically look to do those the day before or the day of the regular meeting, so I will keep you in the loop as we get that set up.
All right, sounds good. Thank you very much. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you.
Okay. Jumping back to CCIDA staff update.
So I know Herb has questions about the sewer line, so I figured we can start there. Here's Andy. So I do know, so the new engineering report was submitted to DEC. I do know that Chris from Probst Group did speak with Jennifer just last week, I think it was, and he clarified a couple more things with her. So that is still in process, and they have sent out a subcontractor to do some of the surveying work that needs to be done, or the topographic work that needs to be done in order for them to draw up the construction documents. So they do have some folks out there working on some of that preliminary stuff, so that as soon as we have that approval, we can move forward with design work. So we are to move forward cautiously while we're awaiting DEC, so that we are appropriately prepared to move forward.
We've had no recent word from DEC though.
Chris spoke with them last week and clarified a couple more questions, but they have not provided an approval at this point.
When we were in discussion on this, we had a date when the milk plant was going to be online with their new project there. And if I understood correctly, there was going to be a sewage problem when their new things are online. When is that date, Tracy?
It was in the spring of next year. It was in, I think, maybe April of next year, if I remember correctly, but it was spring.
So
April.
we still got we've got a little while to get this done before that. I'm just awful anxious to get the DEC done, taken care of, so that we can go through the rest of the process with this. Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Digging the line is gonna be the easy part.
Yeah, the construction will go quick. It's all the stuff up to that point. And then along the same lines, Doug at Soil and Water, he ordered the piping for the culvert that needs to be repaired. So we will have that ready to go when we're ready to get in the ground as well. So he's already ordered that. He's just going to hold it on site for us until we're ready to go. He probably does by now. He ordered it a couple months ago. So that's just waiting. That's waiting for us to get in the ground. And then in other news, I finished the first round of interviews. So I don't remember the timing of this, but Derek Simmons did resign. He's working for the Center of Excellence for Food and Agriculture in Geneva now. I finished the first round of interviews for his position, and we'll be moving into the second round of interviews with some stakeholders, hopefully in the next week or two, to get that position filled by mid-November. And so that's moving along. And we're still doing a combination of response to COVID versus normal economic development work. We're working on our attraction strategy and trying to beef up what we are able to accomplish in that realm. But a lot of our attraction is coming right now from surrounding counties. It's not going very far. We are doing some marketing, but we need a little bit more strategy and data to bring it further than that. The Auburn place-based branding is moving forward. The firm had started working with us a few weeks ago. They're doing a focus group next week, and we're hoping to have that brand launched in January, if possible. We're hoping for January, but it might be a little bit later than that. So that's moving forward as well.
Any questions? New business. Assign acting secretary, Taylor Simons.
If it pleases the board, we'd like to make this official so that your minutes can officially come from Taylor, and she can sign resolutions and things of that nature. So if it pleases the board, I'd like to recommend a motion to assign an acting secretary.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion by Andy, seconded by Ben. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? You're it. Thank you.
You're stuck now.
Report of Audit and Finance Committee.
We met a half hour ago, and I moved that they report the budget to the committee with the correction on the total income figures.
So if you look at the budget under the projected year end, there was an issue with a formula. The total revenue for 2020 projected year end is actually $135,896, with net ordinary income for projected year end 2020 of $55,386. The proposed 2021 budget does not require any changes in terms of math.
Okay, is there any questions to the Finance Committee? If not, that'll be set for approval next meeting.
No, we need to do it this
The
meeting.
2021 budget will need approval.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to approve 2021 budget?
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. Is there discussion on the 2021 budget? Lacking any, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried. Upcoming.
The main upcoming educational seminar is a Marketing Monday, which is next Monday, but social media best practices, which is really important these days with everyone working online. The Chamber is also holding a virtual auction in lieu of the annual dinner that will start this Friday and run through next Friday. If anyone's interested in checking out the items, you can find that at the Chamber's website starting on Friday, and we're starting to post what those items are on social media. But other than that, Jess is just working on some additional educational seminars, and we are doing, CCIDA is holding office hours in Sterling and Moravia in the coming week. Danny will be in Sterling on Tuesday of next week, and then in Moravia on November 10th.
So you did get Moravia.
We did.
Good.
We did get Moravia.
Terry's a good guy.
He is a great guy. I like Terry a lot.
Good sense of humor. Anything else?
I have nothing.
Okay, I'd like a real quick executive session for acquisition of land. Like a motion,
I'll move.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.